Hello and welcome again to another episode of Battle Ready. Ready. Where today, I think it's time to complain. We try not to complain too much on this channel. We want to keep things positive.
Yep.
And I think that we will mostly be positive in this video, but we have some complaints to lodge. One in particular, and that is...
Our torches and pitchforks.
With our torches and pitchforks. Where are our narrative products?
In the realm of chaos.
In the realm of, they're in the warp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's 40K.
It is 40K.
No. We're AOS.
Where are our narrative products? So it is crazy to me that there just are not, that the narrative play mode has, it seems like it's gotten less and less support as time has gone on.
Yeah.
I mean, in 1.0, you had all kinds of silly things like the player who had the biggest beard gets an advantage, right? It's like silly stuff like that. And maybe that's not appropriate. Maybe we don't want that necessarily.
Yeah, I don't know. That'd be pretty awesome.
But what about stuff? What about missions that tell a story? What about campaign modes? What about stuff like that? And I'll tell you what narrative play is not.
It is not what they've been giving us.
It is not what they've been giving us. It's not Path to Glory. Because Path to Glory, technically you can call that a campaign.
Yeah.
But it's really Warhammer with homework. That's all it is. You're playing sort of the same few battle plans over and over, and then you get to do a bunch of homework at the end. And in 3rd edition, at least, there was like, oh, do you take over certain lands, and do you raise up your guys? And
yeah.
And that was still homework.
Yeah.
Right? That was still just like you play a game, and then you sit there and make some rolls and roll stuff down. And the new Path to Glory is even more...
homeworky.
Well, it's about the same level of homework, but to my feeling, it's even less evocative because you're not taking over lands, you're not doing any of that stuff. It's just sort of like, all right, let's give this guy 3 points, and we'll upgrade these guys for 10 points, and we'll do. You could do it with an Excel sheet. It's like you got some Excel to do after each game of Warhammer, and that's just not fun.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, very few battle plans.
Yes.
Then you talk about, okay, what about the narrative products that are released aside from just the core book? Because Path to Glory is core book.
Yes.
And then like 2 pages in each battle tome.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, is a little bit lame because if you don't get your battle tome until well into the edition,
you
don't have your Path to Glory until well into the edition. And then it feels a little bit weird that you, with your battle tome, get to use all your cool new toys, and somebody who doesn't have their battle tome yet, base only, right? Just the very generic options only. It's sort of a feel bad.
Mm-hmm.
But what about other narrative products?
Les books.
Les books. So in 3rd edition, we had Seasons of Orthandia. Right?
And then nothing else.
And then nothing else. Rumors that there was going to be one for Gallet and maybe some others, but they just fell through. Okay. But and even Seasons of Orthandia, it had some cool battle plans, some cool, more narrative battle plans. Like there was the one where there was a monster in front of a cave, and like whoever hit the monster, the other player got to control it for a turn or whatever. It was sort of cool, right? It was different.
Yeah.
Right? It's different. But it didn't have that many. And then it had a couple that you could use for whatever. Then it had a couple that were like, all right, you absolutely have to use Stormcast and Bone Splitters and Beastmen.
Yeah.
So if you didn't have all 3 of those armies, well, I guess that's not for you.
Yeah.
And then it had some good lore stuff, which is cool. I like lore. But what about actual on the tableness? And in 4th edition, we did get Ravaged Coast, but after Seasons of Thondia, I didn't rush out and buy that one. And then after looking at some reviews, it looks like the narrative that you see on the tabletop is likewise pretty limited. And now you contrast that with like the General's Handbook, right? You get a General's Handbook every year.
Yeah.
12 battle plans.
Yes.
Each battle plan has special rules, or at least a special twist, right? Each battle plan does things a little bit differently, but they're all set up in a like a matched play style.
Yeah.
Where you're very even in your starting zones. The rules are basically applicable to both players, right? So there's nothing like, oh, one person's the attacker, one's like defending the siege, or one person has half their army on the board, and then they have to hold off until their reinforcements come.
Yeah.
You know, stuff like that, right? So why not have, for example, either more books, like make some more Ravaged Coasts, and some that are actually good, that have a lot of battle plans and stuff like that.
You've got those Black Library authors.
I mean,
for
they
a
even took them
reason.
out of the battle tomes, right?
Mhm.
Every battle tome used to have
One.
at least one. A couple, like the Daughters one, I think had two.
Mm.
At least one narrative battle plan in it. Those are just all gone.
Yep.
They're not. They do not exist in current battle tomes. And so it's like, okay, well, why not? If we get a General's Handbook every year, why don't we get a Chronicler's Tome
Something we've been talking about forever.
But why don't we get something that's like, okay, we gave you 12 battle plans. Yeah, we gave you 12 battle plans that are for match play. How about we give you 12 or even 6?
Yeah.
But how about we give you a good number of battle plans for narrative play? And ideally you could play them with or without the campaign. I don't like or at least the campaign as it is now, currently set up. Like I said, it feels like Warhammer with math. I don't enjoy it.
Math hammer.
Math hammer.
I attack you with division.
Oh no. I strike with exponentiation.
Oh no.
So maybe people like it, and as long as it can be played in both, that's great. Or maybe you come up with a campaign system. They did this very minimally in Warcry, where you would play one, and then depending on who won, it would branch out, and then depending on who won, it would branch in or out again. And it was minimal because it all sort of ended in the same spot.
Mm-hmm.
So eventually you get to the same place. It turns out it didn't really matter who won or lost. Yeah. But I think something like that would be really cool, where you actually play through a story instead of just saying, all right, whoever wins gets a bonus in the next fight. It's like, okay, I mean, that's sort of neat, I guess. Although you do run into like a rich get richer situation,
yeah.
Right? Where if my army is so much better and I kill you, and then suddenly I get the bonus in the next round, so my army is bigger and better and has a bonus against you. It's like, I don't know if they thought that one through entirely. Yeah. But okay, so that's enough complaining. So the question is, why is it this way? Why don't we have more narrative?
Their Black Library authors are busy writing Black Library.
Well, that's true, right? There are that, but I don't know that you need lore books to have narrative battle plans, to have narrative on the tabletop, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think lore books are also really good. I think we also enjoy those, but I think that's a slightly different. I don't know that a narrative, like an author, I don't know that a novel writer is going to be the best person to ask to make a battle plan, right? So maybe it's good that they're off writing the books, but why don't we have a separate group of people writing narrative gaming content?
Maybe it doesn't sell. Maybe GW doesn't think it'll sell.
That would be so disappointing, because I feel like there's a thirst out there. Certainly for me, I think for Drake too. We definitely would like to see stuff like that. And as I look out on various fora and internet layers, I see a lot of people who want narrative stuff, who want to see that. And if you go back, you don't even have to go back too long when you see Games Workshop doing stuff on whether it's Warhammer Plus or even on YouTube. Lots of times they're playing narrative style stuff.
Yeah.
And if you look at like Middle Earth strategy battles, lots of those are very narrative, right?
Because that's they're all supposed to be recreating battles in Middle Earth.
Right, exactly. So there's lots of narrative stuff. And where is that? I think one of the problems, I think you might have hit the exact right answer, which is if Games Workshop thought it would sell, I'm sure they'd make time for it.
Yeah.
I think probably, I've been thinking about it. It's like, here's a market. There seems to be demand for it. But why don't we see more of it? And I think part of the reason is the 3-year
problem
edition cycle. Yeah, I think it's a problem. And the reason is if your edition's only going to last 3 years, and you need to get out 25 battle tomes in those 3 years.
26 now with the shit.
I think I was counting them. But anyway, like something like 24, 25, whatever it is. If you need to get out that many battle tomes, and you need to do a General's Handbook every year, right? And you need to get ready for the next starter box, right? That's a lot. That's a lot to put in to 3 years, and they know for sure those things sell.
Yep.
Right.
So they don't want to try something new.
Yeah. So it's like, well, there's no release. So maybe they could put in a Chronicler's Tome, but then they might not finish every battle tome.
Yeah.
And so it's like, well, Chronicler's Tome's out then, right? We got to make sure we get every battle tome. I think this is one of those things where maybe if we had pushed to a 4-year or 5-year edition cycle, then you would see them have a little bit of breathing room where they could put in narrative gameplay that's actually really good.
Yeah.
Because sometimes what they do is they'll put in some good narrative gameplay in the final, Broken Realms, Dawnbringer, the push at the end of the edition. But by that point,
it's over.
It's sort of late. It's sort of late in the game to be adding in your super narrative stuff or your multiplayer games or stuff like that. All of that is cool, but that means since you're putting it in the end of edition, you're giving that content out to people that it's going to be valid for
6 months.
Less probably for some of them.
3 months.
Right?
I mean, they're in the 3rd edition, they made Siege Combat.
Right, at the very end. Right?
Yeah.
And then they changed everything in 4th edition. They what do you call that? Indexed every army.
Yep.
And so it's like those rules don't even really work anymore.
Yeah.
Right? So I think that's a problem. I think saving it for the end is a problem. And I think they would have more time if the edition lasted longer. There would be slots. There would be release slots where they could say, all right, hey, we don't have any battle tomes to release this month. Let's go ahead and aim for some narrative content.
Although here's where I think the extended edition gets debunked. They've tried that with 40K. Several editions have been longer or shorter. Maybe, because you're going out on a limb here, they've mathed out that 3-year editions or statistically make the most money.
Well, so in the past, in the 4 times, in the long, long ago.
In the galaxy far, far away.
Both Fantasy Battles and 40K had editions that lasted both longer and shorter than 3 years. I mean, they've just sort of been all over the place. But my understanding, and I wasn't playing Warhammer back then, but my understanding
I wasn't alive back then.
You were alive. My understanding is that they were basically making new editions based on how those editions were doing. If they were still pretty popular and things were still more or less selling, they left it alone, put out some more battle tomes or codexes or whatever. If things were problems or things weren't selling, it's like, okay, we got to revamp this thing, give everybody a reason to buy more stuff.
Yeah.
Let's do another edition.
That's what they want you to believe.
And so now at the 3-year, I think you're right. I think GW thinks
that's
this is
statistically going to make the most money.
Yeah, they've looked at it and they think, all right, 3 years is right on the line of how often we can force people to rebuy their own stuff.
Yep.
Without, having people just say, I'm out. If it was a new edition every year, people would be like, I'm out.
I'm stuck. I'm playing 32nd edition. All right, that was the good edition.
32nd. But they'd be like, we're going off to Trench Crusade or one-page rules or whatever else, right? So I think that is true because I think a lot of their decisions that boil down to that. It's like they're saying,
how do we smoke our tiny competition?
We want to make the most money, and we're going to do this. And if that means we have to cut out some things that maybe are a little bit more experimental, maybe they're a question mark in terms of profitability. Maybe they'd be huge. Maybe they wouldn't sell that great.
GW just plays it safe.
Yeah, they're saying, cut out all the question marks. We're going to hit our core values where we think this is what's going to give us the most return on investment.
Yep.
And
this is the biggest
unfortunately, narrative is not in that pile.
Yeah.
Right. And so if they have to cut out narrative to get to that, then they're going to do it, which is really a shame because I feel like, gosh, even if you just had, like I said, a Chronicler's Tome, let's say you had, only 1 or 2, instead of doing it every year, maybe you had 1, either early on in the edition, 1 or 2, sort of an early-ish one and a late-ish one, to come out with a bunch of new battle plans. I mean, when we did our narrative plays, the battle plans were really fun.
They were.
I mean, it's cool. I mean, I still like match play, right? I would never want match play to go away, for sure. But it's fun to like have a story to go along with it, rather than just who's good at standing in circles.
Yeah.
Because that's sort of what match play is. Match play is who's the best
at standing in a circle.
And narrative play at least gives you a reason to be like, oh, I'm disrupting this ritual. Oh, I'm attacking this castle.
I'm breaking the rocks.
I'm going underground. And you have all these extra rules to bring the game to life and to help you tell the story.
Yeah.
And that, I think, is very, very fun. And unfortunately, something that's really missing right now from Warhammer.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think there's things they could do. They could add in multiplayer again. I mean, they could try to figure out a way to do like co-op or solo play, like they sort of did before in second edition. There's things there's all kinds of things they could do. But the lack of a good story, narrative-driven battle plan, I think is really a big blind spot. And I would like to see that corrected.
Yep.
Let's put a window there so it's not so blind anymore.
Yeah.
All right. Any final thoughts?
I think we got it.
All right. Tell us what you think. Is this something that you also would like to see more narrative on the tabletop in the form of battle plans, special rules, things like that, optional things to throw in if you want a more narrative game? Or is this something that you want? Are we all on the same page of wanting this?
Or are we crazy people?
Or yeah, maybe you're like, I don't care. It's match play all day. And so I don't want there to be narrative because that'll take time away from my match play.
Yeah.
Right? Let us know what you think. And also, if you do want narrative, how come we're not getting it? What is the error here? What folly has GW fallen into? All right, this has been another episode of Battle Ready.
Ready.
Thanks so much for watching.